If you're a man, I have a question. Was there ever a point that, be honest, you got tired of seeing your wife or girlfriend's boobs? Not tired, but like, was there ever a day that came where you saw them and you're like, meh, I've seen them a million times before?
All right, ladies, I'm going to answer this question, and I'm hoping that you're going to watch this entire video because, yes, I'm going to give you the obvious answer, the one that you're probably seeing every guy replying to this question with, but I'm also going to give you the not so obvious answer, the caveat that needs to go along with it, and one that might help you to understand men a little bit better, especially when it comes to relationships. All right, let's get the obvious one out of the way, which is no, we never get tired of seeing boobs. Frankly, any boobs. It's how we're hardwired. And before you go saying typical men, ladies, remember this. It's also how you are hardwired. There are physical traits that males have that you are attracted to. It's simple biology. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. And when it comes to boobs, the boobs of our wife or significant other, they hold a special place to us. They're on a pedestal, which is why we never get tired of seeing them. It's not about objectifying you or the physical. It's about the connection, a connection that women simply cannot understand because, again, it speaks to the differences between men and women. Women are more emotional when it comes to bonding. Men are more physical. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But now let's address that little caveat, the little exception to the rule.
And if the answer is yes, I have two follow-up questions. And that is, one, was it how many years had you been together? And two, was it precipitated by you guys had been going through problems? Or was it your relationship was great, but there was a day that you saw them and you were like, meh?
All right, so that exception to the rule is, yes, there are times men will look at them and go, meh. And it has nothing to do with how many years you've been together. It can happen after a year. It can happen after 20 years. It could happen after 50. And before you go jumping to conclusions, ladies, like I know so many of you just did, it has nothing to do with their appearance. It doesn't matter if they're still perky or sagging down to your knees. The truth of the matter is it has nothing to do with the boobs themselves. It has to do with your relationship. Because if a man has reached the point where he looks at your boobs and goes, meh, he's also reached the point where he's looked at your relationship and is going, meh. And the most likely reason for that is his wants, his needs, his desires are not getting fulfilled. It's really not that much different than when women look at their husbands and go, meh. But keep in mind, men's attractiveness to their significant other, their bonding with them, has a much larger physical component than the other way around. So if he's looking at your boobs and going, meh, you've got a serious problem on your hands. It could be that you've made physical intimacy so conditional, so transactional, that it's not an act of love, but nothing more than a business transaction, or it may be one of many other things. But it's a sure sign that your relationship is in trouble. That is the reality, because no man in a happy, healthy relationship with a woman is ever going to look at his wife's boobs and go, meh. And if you've reached that point and you want to save that relationship, it's time to step up and find out what's wrong. What's eating at him that he's reached this point. Don't make it about you. Make it about him. Listen to what he has to say. Because his thoughts, his feelings, his emotions matter every bit as much as yours do. And as I said, if he's reached this point, there is something seriously wrong. In some way, he's not getting fulfilled in the relationship. And unless you're willing to acknowledge that and address it, to be blunt, the relationship is already over.